Last time in Hexxit, I defeated a necromancer castle and set up a base before heading out to adventure. Before me lay an elaborate castle, teeming with walkers. I walked right through the front gate and started attacking, but noticed I was outnumbered, retreated, and tried blocking them off with a wall. Only, the floor was half slabs, so they were able to jump right over it. I made the wall taller and broke a hole so I could hit them when they couldn't hit me. A classic strategy. After clearing out the rest of them, I entered the castle, defeating walkers and raiding their houses. I found the main entrance and started fighting. My bow proved to be pretty effective against these enemies. Next, I tried breaking through the wall to access the next room, but before I knew it, I was ambushed. After fighting off the last of the ambushers, I made my way in through the side entrance. In each room, a mix of walkers and monsters were ready to greet me. After that was a staircase leading into a courtyard with lots of strong enemies. I was able to take out a few, but ended up being chased back down the staircase. I once again employed the classic strategy of blocking off the corridor and whacking at their feet. The special mob proved to be a bit of a challenge, but I eventually dispatched with the rest of the enemies and continued on to the top of the castle walls. I took out the archers stationed there, almost dying in the process. After I cleaned up the last of the archers, it began snowing and I prepared myself to fight the boss. The winding corridors seemed to stretch on forever, but I finally made it to the top. There were hordes of diamond armor wearing walkers up there waiting for me. I tried to keep them at bay with my bow, but there were too many. They rushed me and knocked me off the tower. Luckily, my golden feather They rushed me and knocked me off the tower. Luckily, my golden feather helped me survive the fall. I climbed back up, dealing with some monsters on the way. But when I got there, the remaining enemies must have fallen down, because there was only one left to fight before I could get to the loot unobstructed. With this castle completed, I jumped down and headed to the other castle nestled right next to it. Entering the next castle, I quickly cleared the enemies in the courtyard, then headed in through the main entrance. By blocking off the entrance, I was able to funnel the enemies and easily take them out. Next, entering a cathedral-looking structure, I used my crystal bow to deal with the walkers from range. Since they took lots of knockback using a sword, it was a bit of a pain, and bows seemed to work better anyway. Climbing the floors of the castle was going smoothly, until I went up a staircase and a ginormous horde of enemies poured out. Luckily though, with some quick thinking, I was able to build a wall so I could hit them from where they couldn't retaliate. A classic strategy. The smart thinking didn't last long though, as my great idea of blowing them all up with TNT backfired in my face, as when I placed the TNT, they used it to climb over the wall and attack. I eventually fought them off. Whew, that was a close one. Next, I went back up the same staircase as before and fought off the remaining enemies. There was some okay loot, but up ahead was the real thing, the boss. I rushed in and started attacking the Walker King. Then, I hit him off the edge. Oh, he teleported behind me! The boss was holding a strong shield, so I would have to time my attacks to get any damage in. After a bit of fighting, I broke his diamond chestplate, and the second phase began. Harsh winds began to blow, knocking me around while I was trying to fight. I was doing my best to defend, but the winds made it hard to dodge and the boss ended up getting in a few lucky hits, so I had to retreat. I blocked off the exit and tried to heal up, but when I turned around, the boss was right behind me! I blocked him off once again and hurried back out into the open, where I had a better chance at fighting. The boss teleported close for a cheeky hit, and while his guard was down, I was able to take him out. He dropped a diamond block and a special sword called the Walker Sword, which gave resistance when blocking. And the chests contained lots of good loot, which I gathered and stored in my backpacks. I looked up and saw another dungeon in the distance, so I jumped down and prepared to fight it. The bow once again proved very effective in dealing with the walkers and other various mobs littering the castle. Until I went up the stairs and faced a special mob, which poisoned and almost killed me. After blocking off the entrance and recovering HP, I took it out, ate a golden apple, and continued on. I next reached a courtyard of sorts, until a special zombie webbed me and two creepers were approaching. Luckily my sword could block the blast. That was a little too close for comfort though. After that I came upon a sort of market, which was pretty cool but the loot was kinda mid. While I was continuing through the halls, the ultra-draining skeleton of dark skulls stood in my path. I thought I got some good hits in, but when I approached it, it seemed to have disappeared. Maybe it teleported away? But that was okay because at last, I was entering the attic, the top of the castle where all the loot was. First was just a diamond-clad walker and a spider, no big deal. But as I was exploring, I turned around, and a massive horde of diamond armor-wearing walkers ambushed me. I grasped onto my sword for dear life as I blocked and slowly backed away, eventually gaining enough distance to run away and block off the hall. From that point, it was just a matter of taking them out from behind the safety of the wall, breaking the spider spawner, and claiming my well-earned loot. After jumping down from the castle, I saw a battle tower. I was feeling pretty cocky since I just defeated 3 walker castles, so I started approaching it. But then, I saw it. The rare Enderborn zombie of darkness. I thought I could take it out just like any other special mob, but little did I know it could just teleport behind me and say nothing personal, kid, and insta-kill me? I died instantly at full health and in full diamond armor. And for some reason, I respawned at one of the beds inside the Walker Castle. I tried rushing back, but the pathway was blocked. I had to break through the cobblestone with my fist and try to find a way down before 5 minutes were up and my stuff despawned. I went back inside and frantically rushed down the stairs and sped over to the tower. I tried to get to the top of the tower to get my stuff back, but being completely unequipped as I was, even regular zombies would prove fatal. I eventually got to the top and got all my stuff back. Luckily the zombie had disappeared. I then started sprinting home. I walked through the desert, crossed snowy mountains, and navigated lush swamps, before getting on a boat and setting sail towards home. On the way there, I saw a pirate ship and a floating castle. No thanks, I've had enough adventure for one day. At last, I disembarked and entered my castle home, stored away my loot, and went upstairs to sleep after a long day's work. Oh. Luckily, my golden feather helped me survive the fall. Why is this so hard?